What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcast, RAF ESPARZA, coming to you with another great installment of the Bullpen, a joint venture between Inside BJJ and the Grappling Hour. How you guys doing? I know, it's Wednesday. You're used to seeing us on Fridays, but you're probably doing as little work as possible still on a Wednesday, so I don't think it actually deters much for you. What it does for us is it reminds you guys that, yes, the PGF is almost upon us, which means that there will be dose amounts of episodes of the Bullpen happening in a very, very short time. But we have to do this episode today because our good friend Timothy J. Freeman is going to be traveling in the next day. So, Tim, what can you tell us, if anything, because in this day we don't always say what everything happens. What is happening? Where are you going, sir?
I am heading up to the Windy City, Chicago this week to meet up with my very, very beautiful wife and spend a few days up there. But it's freezing up there, man. It's cold down here. Got down to 6 degrees this week. It's way colder up there. When we booked the plans and we made them, I had no clue it was going to be that freaking cold, but it is, and I think I'll be okay. I'm gonna layer up. I'm gonna use my beard to shield my face the best that I can, and make the best of it, though, man. But yeah, it's great to be here on a Wednesday, though, man. It's a nice little surprise guerrilla show that we pulled off on the fly.
For sure. Let's just take a second for logic, Tim. You didn't feel like it was going to be cold in Chicago in the month of January.
Okay, listen. I knew it was going to be cold, but I didn't think it was going to be Arctic cold. It's exceptionally cold. It's snowmageddon, right? The whole East Coast is frozen over right now. I literally, I'll send you the video. I went out yesterday, the first time in 3 days. I had a layer of ice over my car that was an inch thick that I had to like break. And I was pulling these huge plates of ice off and just chucking them into the cement, letting them break. It was actually quite fun, but yeah, man, it's pretty iced over.
I'm very sorry about that. I know in my world of California, I taught class late at night, do some tape study. Normally after that sort of stuff, I start to do my workout. And I was like, all right, cool, let's go gadget workout. And I realized, I was like, damn, it's kind of cold. Shit. I don't want to do this workout. And then I had a moment where I said, other people are snowed in where they can't go work out, so I don't think I should have an excuse. And I found a hoodie inside of my car and I just went to work on that. So that was the extent. Like, if you ever see me in any kind of hoodie, you have to know the weather is that extreme, because I am notorious, after living in Illinois and Kentucky during crazy storm seasons, I was like, none of this phases me. It's fine. So it really does take something like that for me to get a little bit moved. Tim, what, if anything, is new with you, sir? This is our little monologue section, so it gives us a second to remind the people that, yes, the show is happening and that they can join in. But for you, any new developments on your side of the world since?
Yeah, man, I almost went stir crazy being in the house, but got out and was able to get some training in last night. My challenge out here in Nashville is half my students are like, I can't leave my driveway. There's a lot of down trees. So, they're like, I can't come to class, and I don't want anyone to get in a car crash on the way to class. But at the same time, I'm ready to train. And if I could get out and train, I am. So I put the call out last night, or actually yesterday afternoon, said, hey, 10 round Tuesday, 7 p.m., who's down? And everybody showed up. So that was awesome. I got 11 rounds in on 10 round Tuesday. I felt pretty good. Plus my body had rested up and I felt nice. So that was a big plus for me. Outside of that, man, not a whole lot going on, dude. The city shut down and everyone's just kind of chilling. It's like a mini COVID break right now. It's like a 72-hour COVID break. And it's quite nice. I don't mind it at all.
Well, I'm glad that you're safe. I do feel it is kind of an interesting element that got lost in all of the weather talk. How does one do 11 rounds in a 10 round Tuesday? Is there a secret round that you don't tell other people about? Is it a black belt only round? How does that work? Because the math ain't math in here,
Yeah.
Tim.
This is how it works. The 10 rounds start when I start my first round. So, I'll put the clock on and it'll start ticking. But if I got stuff to do or I'm helping people at the front desk or I'm not ready yet and I start at round 3, that's really round 1. So I kind of run it that way, but sometimes we do a bonus round. So last night we did do like a straight 10 rounds. And then I'm like, "Hey, let's do a bonus round. Let's push ours to 11. Our 10 round Tuesday goes to 11 round." And if
That's
you don't
very funny.
understand that, I don't know. I don't know what else to tell you, dude. It goes to 11. So
It's very funny. I love the fact that when people tell a story that tugs on the heartstrings, like, man, it's hard for people out here to go train. It's rough. We don't want people to die to come train, but everybody showed up and we did a 10 round Tuesday. I did 11. Like, I couldn't tell if you were going into Trump bragging dementia, Tim, or if we were still in the era of like, well, I guess we just have to let him have this one. Like, he might just think that he did 11 rounds, but for that, we do have a board in front of us. We will get to that in just a second. But one thing I wanted to mention to you is there was a great amount of spirit and hilarity that happened at our competition over this weekend. And there was a moment that one of my students got disqualified. Now, I'll give you the full story here because the story isn't necessarily like a sad one or a mad anything, but there is two elements to this. So if it turns out that you compete at this tournament and you have a wristband on, they tell you take off the wristbands. Now they also tell me to take off my wedding band, which is still the most absurd thing in the world because this is a rubber wedding band. I wear this so that I can train jiu-jitsu. And without
right.
fail, they always tell me to take it off like it's some sort of concealed weapon. And I always think, I'm gonna lose it. Okay. That's not even the thing to complain about. What they do is on those wristbands that are just real thin pieces of paper. When you go compete, they tell you take it off. And I always think, how am I going to go coach if I still have to coach after this? So I asked them very, very clearly, do I need to go get another one? Do I just keep it on if I'm still coaching? And they go, yes. And I go, not clear, but I think I understand you need me to go get another one. Fine. I compete, I finish, we've got a little bit of downtime, I make my way over to the table to get ready, and I kid you not, the dude who was at the desk was doing a Rubik's Cube and was not stopping at all to help me. So, Tim, imagine you're standing there just like, I didn't want to come back here, just give me another wristband. And instead he's showing us like, this is how you get all the blues. Okay. Now, after you get all the blues, you got to do all the yellows now. And I'm like, Tim, I have shit in my hand. So imagine me holding stuff like this and this, just kind of like.
Oh my gosh.
For sure, bro. Yeah. And then the worst way you could ever be handled in this situation is after about a good 10 minutes, he goes, can I help you with something, man? I was like,
Can I help you with something, man?
Yeah, you can. Hey, man, I was told I need another wristband. Can I get another wristband? Dude doesn't even recheck me. He remembers me and just goes like, here you go, man. And I go, you could have just done that. Here's where the story picks up to a second turn, Tim. I run over. I see my students competing. I realize I don't have enough time to go run onto the mats. I see him about to start up what is going to be a footlock. And he's a deer white belt. And would you believe it, when this kid who I had warned multiple times, hey, there's a thing called reaping, immediately reaps.
Ugh.
And it's crushing because I have to explain to him the mentality behind reaping and why I don't really care, but that he can't talk to the ref. And he's just like, well, did I? And I go, you 100% did. And even his, the coach that he was going against was doing that like, yeah, buddy, you can't do that. And like, not a full dickish way, but in a like, my student's advancing kind of a way. And I go,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay. And so this poor kid goes, sure, coach, did you see it? And I go, I did. I tried to get over here. There was an unfortunate, urgent Rubik's Cube that needed to be solved that did keep me from getting here. So I'm very sorry I couldn't be there for that.
I just couldn't leave until I watched him get the yellows. I always get stuck on the
Tim, the way in which I was trying to be a good coach and go get the credentials back in time and do it in a responsible manner of like, oh, no problem, sir. If you need a second, I totally get it. Maybe you're just going to show him how to align the color real quick and hand him off. No, I think he did 2 different colors on 2 different sides. And I was just like, I might be here a while. So I got to start using some Karen eyes here. Tim, you are a higher belt here. What should I have done to remedy the situation?
Slap the Rubik's Cube out of his hand. or or you could go, you know what you could do? You could go like, oh, let me show you something. I could show you a trick to get all yellows. And then when he hands it to you, you chuck the Rubik's Cube as far as you can throw it. And then you go, now you can help me. Dude, I don't know. I've never been a Rubik's Cube guy. I was always the kid that took all the stickers off of the Rubik's Cube and just put them like where I thought. And they made those damn stickers a certain way that if you peeled them off, it was very easy for everyone to know that you had peeled that sticker off. I can never quite get it on right. But yeah, that's some jujitsu customer service. Not like a super surprise though. You know, you either get the really super duper down home friendly jujitsu person, or you get the dude that's like could not be bothered, right? And who knows what he's being paid? Probably nothing. He probably got the Rubik's Cube as payment to staff the desk for the tournament. If I know anything about jujitsu.
There was just a moment where I was like, let's not be a dick about this. And then running to see my student and being like, damn, I'm going to let him down. All right. So I literally start with all right, man, we're going. No, that's reaping. Okay. That's a wrap. Let's go. That was fun. But I do want to remind everybody this. If you are a competitor, never talk to the ref. That is your coach's job. Almost immediate DQ. And I have said it before. I had said he would get caught for reaping if he did X or Y or Z. It happened. I had said in previous tournaments, don't talk to the ref. One time at a Jiu-Jitsu World League, he got back points and he was looking at the ref. He goes, hey, did I get my back points? And I go, you can't do that, dude. So it's a struggle out here, Tim, but you know what else is a struggle? This board. Why don't we start with the very first topic of this week's class? Actually, no, let's address this comment because it will come up here a little bit later. This is from Nathaniel Phillips, 9284. He says, Noah McCauley needs an invite to the PGF. His trial runs are full of elbow genies. Travis Haven is going to crush it.
Oh, shoot. Okay, let me go. Let me get that invite written up. Hold on. What was his name, Raf? Tell me.
It's Noah McCauley.
Yeah, let me fire that over to the registration department. Hold on.
For sure. Hold on. Let me get my Rubik's Cube to go ahead and just start solving that there. Here's what I want to say. He was at the qualifier. We will get to talking about it in a second. He did not advance. And I know there was a lot of heat on Noah, and I know he's incredibly talented. The one good takeaway you can have is if he didn't get the invite outright, if you competed at a PGF qualifier, you are still in the pool. So it is, yes, a lower possibility. I don't think he would be in the draft per se, but we have seen them go into the reserves to the point where somebody on our team got pulled in. So
Right. Right.
I guess I should say nothing is impossible, but saying anybody needs an invite when we have unfortunately run out of invites is a rough spot. They did promise those to JJ and to Brett. More on that in a second, but thank you very much. This is noted. Noah is a rising star, and we do see that. So we will take that moment to acknowledge it. But Tim, let's talk about this. It does appear to be the 90s all over again. Did you know that the drummer for Blink 182 has found his way into jiu-jitsu and not very far away from us here in Southern California? Tim, what can you tell us about the beloved drummer of an incredibly famous and beloved band?
Yeah, Blink 182 drummer Travis Barker has started training jiu-jitsu. Not a huge surprise, right? We're hearing this more and more and more. It used to be, we had like one or two people that were pseudo celebrities and who also trained jujitsu, and it was like every UFC they would spotlight those people. But it's new times. Times sure have changed. Barker joins a cohort of rock star musicians. We're talking Ricky Rocket, Dave Mustaine, Maynard James Keenan, Zoltan Bathari, right? Lots of famous musicians that are super talented. They're training jujitsu. Doesn't surprise me. The real question is this: will he gi or will he no gi? That's the question. And I took my liberty with the little tag today, the image today. And if you look at most of the Kardashian crew, huge supporters of Eddie Bravo, they're flashing the 10s. They're like, you gotta go 10, Barker. They want him to be 10P for life. But his wife, Courtney, wants to keep it classy, traditional. She's popping the chaka. She's like, look, we go classy, traditional, white gi all day. You could wear it to the dojo. You could wear it to a Diddy party. You could wear it just about anywhere. It's a white gi. It's got a great look. But good on Travis Barker, man. It's always cool to see people train jiu-jitsu. This guy's 50 years old, and he's starting jiu-jitsu. So wild stuff, man.
And of course, he is starting under the tutelage of Jean-Jacques. So
Yes,
I think we know the answer to what he's training. So, I will tell you, the pins and needles that I was on in the little space, the ellipses that you put between white and gi, it was a little nerve-wracking here, Tim. We get a little white gi, and we do it. And I was like,
I like that uncomfortable timing.
It's okay. It's a very interesting environment. Tom DeBlas put up a post about it already. There's a lot of stuff that comes with that sort of sensitivity. So I can tell you this. I am happy he is here. I'm happy he's doing it. It is always welcoming to have a lot of people learn about our sport. They get to learn how difficult it is. They get to be a part of the community. They see why we love it so much. So we welcome him. And I mean, listen, they're a very fun and silly band. So having them enjoy this is kind of like, I don't know what you do when you get to be an older rock star. You don't really retire fully, but
No.
you just sit there and you think, like, what do you do when you're not making albums? Like, there is going to be some downtime if you're not touring all the time. So why wouldn't you do this? And dude, it's way, I say this and I understand the irony, it's way better on your body than skating. Like, that dude was a skateboarder.
Oh, yeah.
He's already got the requisite number of knee injuries that make him at least a purple belt. So I'm happy to have him here, and I wish him luck. And he's being taught by one of the best. So congratulations to Travis. We look forward to seeing him do cool things. And he was a part of the UFC this weekend in a debut. We'll talk about that in a little bit more time. But for right now, let's move on to the UFC BJJ 5 announcements. It does appear that UFC BJJ has taken place in a very short amount of time, February 12th, and they announced some bangers, some okay ones, and maybe some that we need to eliminate on. Tim, what can you tell us about the upcoming UFC BJJ 5 card?
Talking about interesting choice of words. Some we need to eliminate on. I like that.
Illuminate. We need to
You,
bring light to it.
I thought you said eliminate. I think eliminate is the new one. Man, UFC BJJ 5, big announcement. Couple title fights. Mikey Musumeci's putting his title on the line. Ronaldo Jr.'s defending his belt. We got the battle of the Andys. I'm looking forward to seeing that. Andy Murasaki versus Andy Varela. I started looking initially, Raf, up, no lie. When I looked at the fight poster, I thought, oh, Musumeci's fighting Anthony Kiedis. Like they're really having trouble finding someone for him to fight. And then I look closer, I'm like, oh, this is Shea Montague. Now, on the surface, it's like, who's this dude? Like who's Musumeci fighting all these guys that like aren't super known? But if you look at Montague's record, the guy won Worlds Nogi this year. He won Europeans. He won last year. He's been on a tear since purple belt. He's pretty damn good. Now, he doesn't have a body of work like Musumeci. Obviously, Musumeci's been in the game a lot longer than this guy. But I think he could represent a threat to Musumeci just because he is kind of a new talent, but he is high quality. So I am interested in the matchup. I would like to see Musumeci fight somebody that represents is like a much bigger threat, but we have yet to see that.
Okay. I hear you. I want to just propose a thought here. So you mean to tell me that we're looking at this dude he's fighting, because I had a very similar reaction. So let's just zoom in a little bit on this dude, right? Okay. So you see him right over here. You said Anthony Kiedis. Not a wrong thought. But to me, does this not look like Geo and the Witness Protection Agency? Because I was wondering, did we take Geo and hide him away? Because they did promise us a Geo match, and then now he's retired. And I thought, oh, Geo Martinez may have retired. But Ultrazoid, whatever he goes by on Instagram, which, by the way, I still don't fully understand that. I think it's a robot thing. But Professor Ultrazoid is a free agent. Now, if you think I'm lying here, I just very quickly typed this into the interwebs. And I want you to see, okay, 1, 2. Okay? 1, 2. I'm not saying it's a dead ringer. I'm just saying Hollywood magic and a good wig and Rick Baker could do magic. So there be that. Yeah, I think the weird part is I keep seeing things that say, who is Andrew Tackett going to fight next? And it is turning into the best game show adaptation of, who is he fighting next? You tell us, because we don't know. No.
Yeah. Who is he going to fight?
No one knows. And I think what they're looking for is for you to put up the most economic possibility for him to fight in the comment section. I think now they're just trolling through the comment section. They go, how much is that guy worth? Yeah, it's throw him $1,000. Andrew Tackett will break his rib or something, but $1,000. We got him. I think that's what's happening. I cannot be convinced otherwise, because you saying that to us is like, who's he going to fight? It sounds like a cop who doesn't have a lead in a story, but who brought people in to question them is like, I don't know. What do you know about them? Like, that's self-incrimination, dog. I'm not doing that. Last but not least, in this particular thing, UFC BJJ is going to be free on YouTube. We know this because we had to look at Mikey Musumeci on the camera in whatever. Is it gender affirming care that's happening with it? I don't know. But whatever
Dude,
he
I
was
don't know.
wearing, that's when they remembered, oh, we should tell people about UFC BJJ 5. It's free on YouTube. But by and large, it's going to be on Paramount Plus. This weekend, the UFC made its debut, a very prominent card with Paramount Plus. Tim, what were your thoughts on the debut of UFC on Paramount Plus?
I didn't hate it in terms of the production. I didn't hate it. I thought the throw between the pre-show crew and the main crew was a little choppy sometimes, but that's just probably because it's the first time they've kind of done it this way. Overall, I did enjoy the card. I know there's some controversy about the decisions, but I did enjoy the card quite a bit. I thought, everything went smooth. The stream was crystal clear. It didn't cut out 45,000 times, which is what I was concerned about, being that, this is Paramount's first UFC that they're streaming. The one thing, like the two things that I didn't like, one is, man, I felt like if they would have put the camera on Dana White during the Patty Pimblett Justin Gaethje fight, we would have seen Dana with a Justin Gaethje voodoo doll poking holes in it. It was like they wanted Pimblett to win so bad. It was just a little too much. And I don't hate Patty Pimblett, but it was obvious to me that Gaethje was going to win that fight. And then what was the other thing? It dropped out of my head, but overall, I thought it was a pretty good production. They keep saying this, and this is what is a little unclear. They keep saying we've gotten away from the pay-per-view model. All the fights are free on Paramount. But then I distinctly heard Dana White say in a press conference, I don't know, 6 months ago, or so, when this deal was being talked about, or a question came up about it, and he said, we're not getting away. We're going to do one-off pay-per-view still, which to me is like, oh no, is that like their little get out of jail free card for when they really got a good fight? They're like, it could go on Paramount. This is a pay-per-view, right? That's going to really piss some people off if they do that. And I would like them to be more clear about that. So those are my two things, man. But overall, I didn't hate it.
Oh, let those viewership numbers go down and we'll see how long they don't do pay-per-views for. A few thoughts. So Tim, you watched it live. You texted me a couple times about it. You weren't wrong. A few thoughts. Before I put the camera on me, I just want to make it very clear. Tim, did you try to watch it at all, or did you miss something that you tried to look up a little bit later on the app?
No, but that's because I may not have watched it on Paramount.
Well said. Okay, we will drop that. Camera back on me. So, I think it's a good time to tell you guys I do have Paramount Plus. Yes, I do. I subscribed. I subscribed before you guys subscribed. Take that. And yes, I have seen my rates go up by $1 or so since you jackals have come with the UFC. I did not watch it live. So I did see some reveals and some notes and some thoughts. And I thought, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait till Monday. And if I wait till Monday, I can just watch it because I have the no ads version. Do I get a no ads version of this? Because I heard a lot of people complaining about the ads. And guess who's not sympathetic to that? Yeah, there's going to be fucking ads, okay? What do you expect? You're paying what, $8.99 for it? You fucking freeloaders? That's Dana's response. My response is, but where are you putting the ads? And what kind of ads are they? Because if it's ice, not the time. But it could be the dumb audience you need for ice sometimes. What I do want to point out, though, is in this particular thing, I think people can be forgiving about the ads, the frequency of them. They'll get used to it, all that sort of stuff. As a person who watched it, it time shifted, though. There is no all-encompassing UFC 324. Maybe it exists, but I did look for it. I did put it in the search engine. If you time shifted, go to look for UFC 324, it doesn't pop up like, hey, here's the full event. What it does do is it gives you the full event, but chopped up into fights. Now, this might just be a way of keeping you off of YouTube or feeding the beast that is the current version of the product. But I do argue it did render me unable to watch the full broadcast in its entirety so that I could come to a decision on, oh, were people right about the ads? Were they right about this? Were they wrong about that? And it does beg the question. I have the no ads version. Want to make that very clear. But I wonder if they break it up in those chunks so that they can reinsert those commercials and get more replay value out of it, as opposed to the preloaded commercials that you have to watch if you just watch the event in its entirety. Now, granted, there's probably research that does identify not everybody watches the full event. They're kind of shitty on it. They don't want to see all the fights. They just want to see what they want to see. But it is very odd because it's a big jump from what we've known through Fight Pass and what we've known through every other variation of this. So that is the one thing I wanted to tell you guys. If you miss the event, you don't get to see the fun shit that happened in between. You don't get to see the mistakes. It's a very clear way of cleaning up the mistakes that they might have made. So I did try to watch it objectively and see how it was, but all I could watch were the fight recaps, and its interface could use some work. So them's my notes, Tim.
Yeah, that's frustrating. It is not fun when you, and this has happened to me before with other events where you don't watch it live and then you stay away from it because you're like, I don't want to see the results, like I want to watch it, and then you go to find it and you can't find the damn thing, or it's not chopped up in a way where you could watch it, like actually enjoy it. You have to keep flipping through and finding each individual fight or whatever. Yeah, that's highly annoying.
And does it really just affect people like me and you who rewatch it in its whole and want to see the whole thing? I don't know. But I did logically think, oh, yeah, if they do it like this, it does mean that they could sandwich more ads in there. So those of you who don't like ads, you may not be running away from it. In fact, in between in those like playlists, or say you want to watch all the fights, you might have to ingest another ad or two or three. So if that is not the case, let me know. But that was just a thought I did have. And one other thing, if the interface makes it hard to find the UFC fights, how do you think it's going to treat the UFC BJJ content? Yikes. Anyways, we're going to move now to our second topic, or I'm saying, I think our third topic now. It does look like noted historian and overall grumpy sass pants. One, Robert Drysdale has some feelings about the way that we have heard history and what it has to do with the Gracies. This week, Tim, what did Robert Drysdale have to say about the history of jiu-jitsu as we may have heard it?
So, Robert Drysdale is quickly becoming the Graham Hancock of jiu-jitsu. He is on a quest to find the truth and uncover the mysterious age of jiu-jitsu's grappling universe. So in a new twist, recently he was questioning the Gracie family's official narrative. And I like how like somehow they've become the establishment whenever he talks about him. It's like the official Gracie narrative is not true. And that's basically more or less a claim that like jiu-jitsu started, the Brazilian jiu-jitsu began in like 1925 when Mitsuyo Maeda arrived in Rio de Janeiro. But Drysdale in the article ultimately gets to the point where he says that modern jiu-jitsu really didn't even start to unfold in even a minor way until 1975. And he says that before that, jiu-jitsu was basically judo on the ground, just the standard nuwaza from judo. and that once the point system changed, where the pinning positions like mount were given more points than say a takedown, he credits that with being the genesis that kind of started the spread of this like modern jujitsu movement, even though 75 is a long ass time ago now. Um, he credits that with being like the kind of the initial push that kind of pushed us in this direction. So it's interesting. I do find it fascinating. I just don't think that many people really care, you know, and it's interesting that he's so interested in it. And he's because Drysdale's been uncovering things about jiu-jitsu for a good decade now. Every once in a while you'll see an interview or you'll hear him and he'll say like, hey, guess what, this is not true or that's not true. And so obviously he's dedicated to it. But I just don't know what the what the motivation is exactly, Raf.
Listen, I don't know what to do with any of this information anymore. Like, I guess Drysdale's classes are doing so well he doesn't have to teach.
Right.
So that's a very big positive. But it feels like every time we see him in the news, it is correcting the public record on something. And even then, I guess the intention is, and maybe it's not intentional or as an indirect result of what he's doing with this. Does it not come off as its own branch of Gracie revisionism? I'm not saying it is, but I'm saying it comes off like that, where it's like, no. I'm going to revise what's already been said. Allow me to spin the tale. Like, history gets rewritten by folks consistently. What he does have amongst a lot of people, including us here, is he does have precedent. He has been here longer than us and around in the sport. But I just feel like one question you should always have is, what is the intention of this? Or what is the intention of the rhetoric? Is it harmless? Do we care? And if you're the Gracies, I think it's not bad to question them. I think we get to a certain point where we go, hey man, your grandpa's version of history might be different than my grandpa's version of history. What are we supposed to do? Bring the old people together and have them fight it out to figure out who really did it? Like, dump them off of a wheelchair and just be like, all right, whoever wins or can crawl the other side of the mat. That's the story we believe now. I think what is very important about it now, though, is that it does highlight the importance of cataloging where jiu-jitsu is currently. But I will say the thought process of jiu-jitsu wasn't important until we added points is kind of the least interesting history of all the history. Like, could you imagine making a point that's just like, hey, until somebody got their 4, this wasn't a good jiu-jitsu. This wasn't a real thing. It wasn't a sport. Because maybe you can make the accusation that other sports have points and that once we got to points, we were good. But I thought we were a defense mechanism. I thought we were something else. All these things have too many rules to the point where I just go like, you know what? Sounds great. I know what it is now, and I think that's safe enough for me. The problem is we are a history that is predicated on hierarchy and honor and legacy. So it is important to note. But I think the fact that there have been so many branches in this retelling of history make it kind of near impossible to tell you this is the definitive story. And to stand by that and be like, well, no, it is. I just know. And take it for that. So I guess what I'm telling you guys is be skeptical. Yeah. But this is a great time to tell you guys about my upcoming book, The Real History of Jiu-Jitsu, as written by RAF ESPARZA.
Right.
No. I interviewed the people that Drysdale interviewed, but I interviewed them longer. Read my book, which will be the absolute and unquestioned truth in the future.
I put his book into Chat GPT and then had it write my own book.
Which honestly is going to be the way books are written in the future. So that's
Probably, right?
not that far off. Let's go to our next one. Now, this is perhaps the most compelling, intriguing, interesting thing that you put on the board this week. Tim, what can you tell us about the world of instructional diss tracks? Please elaborate.
Listen, man, it it is 2026, and Ashton Kutcher's on the Tonight Show. Brian Ortega, Mackenzie Dern are on the Golden Globes, and now Jiu-Jitsu has another first. We have our first diss instructional. This is happening. This is a beautiful thing right now. It's happening right under our noses. We get to watch this. So Craig Jones, as we all know, Octopus Guard Extraordinaire released a 2.0 version on BJJ Fanatics, and either it leaked out or he posted it out that he had made around 300 grand off of this. And I'm just dumbfounded, to be honest with you, that these guys are making that much money off their techniques, but more power to them. I think it's awesome. And Gordon, not to be undone. And I believe that Gordon sleeps with one eye. This is how Gordon sleeps. One eye is constantly on his phone to see if somebody says anything he disagrees with so he can jump on it immediately. Like this, I would love to see this guy's iPhone usage statistics. So Gordon, he fires back, and what does he do? He releases an instructional diss track. He puts a free mini class on YouTube on how to defeat the Octopus Guard. He says, look, behind the technical posturing, there's a deeper conflict between him and Craig, and he said it's on site. All right. So this is how we know this is a diss instructional. This isn't just a counter instructional. It's a diss instructional. It's on site. Both of us, we grew up in the 80s and 90s, RAF. We know where this diss track stuff is headed. We've seen this before. First, it starts with Craig, you're no good. You can only get second place. And then it's Gordon, have a seat in the cuck chair. And then it's buy my wet ass Octopus Guard DVD counter diss track. And then before we know it, someone's getting thrown out the 12-story window, dude. So be careful, gentlemen. Not a safe path you're walking down, but just like NFL Blitz, uncalled for, a lot of fun to watch.
Okay, you bring up some good points. Allow me, as somebody who lived on the West Coast, to tell the children how these things ended in the rap wars. Well, children, gather around. Your grandparents might have told you about Tupac and Biggie. So, you might know where this is headed, but if you didn't get those bedtime stories, two people who were friends suddenly were not friends. They went to rival sections, but those sections really loved them. And people like P. Diddy, which I guess is almost, you could say, Isaac Michelle, allegedly. We don't know. We don't know who all the players exactly map out to be here, but bad people in jiu-jitsu, we can take that at base. Anyway, Tupac and Biggie, who used to really respect each other, found themselves releasing diss tracks, and ultimately one died, and then, oh, guess what? The other died. Did Sean P. Diddy Combs kill them? Depends on which documentary you watch. Possibly. But in this particular case, it is an escalated violent situation. So what it does tell you is Gordon saying it is on site does raise a few red flags. But I don't think anybody cares. Because I think most people, for this possibility of a fight, for two people who don't fight, they do jiu-jitsu, which has elements of fighting, but not all of the elements of fighting, obviously. We have seen Gordon slap Andre Galvo, and for logic that we could never put together, nothing ever happened of that, except Andre did do an apology, which was really just a plug for his online course.
Right.
I guess really what we forget here in terms of legacy and history is, if we're writing this chapter of the Drysdale book, it's pretty stupid. I do love the element of rival, hey, you show this, I'm going to show this. But nothing is funnier to me than Gordon being like, he didn't even beat any top tier talent with it, and you guys know that it caught nobody, and those people, they suck and they weren't good. Well, I don't know, man. He looks like he catches people with it all the time. And it is good that you put something out, but somebody in the comment section hit it right on the head. Even though there was a preview of the instructional that Gordon was putting out as a response to the Craig Jones Octopus Guard, somebody in the comment section said a real hater would have given it out for free. And I'm thinking to myself, isn't that it? Because, Gordon, you're not winning the war of words. You might make some money off this. I think you'll probably do okay because there's going to be a lot of interest in that Octopus Guard. But I think, I'm not sure your sales are going to be as good. They might be. You have a rabid fan base, unlike, say, certain cults that vote currently. Actually, someone do the research. I don't think they're too far off. But what I really am intrigued about here is, what does this do? Do you guys both just continue making money off of this in perpetuity? As long as it's just meant to be a instructional off, I think we benefit from it. Because I have seen people use Octopus Guard in very fun and smart ways for their particular games. I think it's just kind of very funny to see somebody get so in their bridges that they think, how dare people learn from someone else? I'm going to release something that's even better and it shows them how to kill it. It's like, dude, take a Wednesday off. Enjoy your life. Your trolling game is not on the level. It's not. Your instructional game is good. Is Danaher going to do a DVD? I'll watch that one. If Danaher does, this is how you beat the Octopus Guard, it's going to be the best 15-hour series anybody's ever seen. I ain't got time for that. I guess what I'm saying here, kids, is don't kill each other. And the fact that you guys say it's going to be on site, I think you've been at very similar places multiple times. Yeah. Nothing has happened yet. So let's cool that shit. Especially in this fucking climate right now. You guys want to add in your own dumb fisticuffs? We're good.
Yeah. On site is, I think it's overused today. That used to actually mean something. It used to mean if you said it was on site and then you didn't throw down, then you were a bitch. Like that. You couldn't say on site and then not pull through. I actually think there is a missed opportunity in this market, RAF. Either one of these guys could very easily just take the other guy's last instructional and just release it and critique it. Just show all the moves and just critique them and talk about how shitty they are. And maybe have a diss in there. Like actually maybe diss the other dude while you're doing the instructional. Now we're getting moves and we're getting entertainment.
My thought process is the promo video should have just been to the beat of Nas's Ether and or is Esther? God, my brain's so fried now at this. That would have been really, really good. I think it's Esther. Yeah, that's how long it's been. What I can tell you though is that would be fun. I feel like you should just hire joke writers if you're Gordon. Like at this point, you should hire a joke writer to like give you your one-ups. Because every time Gordon's just like, he didn't win anything with this. And I'm like, I think his bank account won. Because people are buying that shit, bro. So, by all logic and science, we good. Oh, one other thing. I want to make this very clear. When people say on site, it's SIGHT. I don't subscribe to that. On site to me should be spelled SITE. Because on site means like, ooh, I have put on site. I wore my glasses. No, I don't want that. It means at the location. It means the ghetto version of writing out site. SITE. So that is how I put it. Anytime I put it to people, I get really like self-conscious because I'm like, oh, I think they'll probably figure I'm stupid and don't know how to spell, which is the case some of the times, but not on that one. It is intentional. It's usually in all caps. And people will tell you I have hit them on site. So I have no issue with it because I was raised properly, Tim.
Absolutely.
All right, Tim, what can you tell us about this? Because I didn't see this one come into the news, but it does look like this garbage pail kid was an active purple belt competitor. What do we need to know about it?
Yeah. So Jared Wade, God bless you, Atos purple belt, trained hard, got his act together, said his prayers, took his vitamins with 40 seconds up, winning the match with 40 seconds left at the European Championships. His run comes to the end at the hands of Guillermo's kebab and pizza shop that he had for lunch. This poor guy summoned Hulkamania, and instead of getting like the Hulkster, you know, the 1989 Hulkster, I am a real American, he got the Bubba the Love Sponge hidden camera bloated Hogan and basically just vomited with 40 seconds left, got DQ'd. His opponent had a huge smile on his face, relieved. I mean, if you're gonna advance and you're losing on points and dude throws up, I'm like this. That's a tap. That's a body tap. Your body tapped. You didn't tap with your hand. Your brain didn't tap, but your body tapped. So a tap is a tap. I recently had a student. This was last week before we closed for a few days. Trained to exhaustion, got up, ran off the mats, ran into the front desk area, and I knew something was up because he didn't put his shoes on or his sliders, and that's a big no-no. Beelines to the garbage can, grabs it. I'm like, where's he going with the garbage can? I thought he was just going to throw up in the garbage can. He grabs the garbage can and then runs into the dressing room with it. And we got one of those like one stall dressing rooms with a curtain. And I'm sitting at the desk and I see him do this, and I'm like, yo, what do you better not be taking a dump in that thing. Like, what do you do? Why did you take that behind the curtain? And he pulls the curtain back. I didn't want you to see me, coach. Bad times all around, man. Would really suck to be on a good run and be ahead and vomit. Look, if I'm going to vomit, I'm going to vomit on my opponent, and I'm going to vomit when I'm losing, not when I'm winning.
Yeah, that's a tough one, dude. I when I compete, I try to keep a pretty empty stomach, but full enough to compete, and it's a hard balance. So I'm notorious for not really eating before I train either. So even when I was advised to put a little bit of food in me before competing, I was like, dude, I don't want to do this, but I know I need some sustenance. I need to feel a little bit better with all this stuff in me. This is my nightmare. This is exactly what I am nervous about. You know, even when I put in like a half of a egg and sausage sandwich into my mouth, it was like, oh no, I don't want to be this guy. So now you show me this. And you know, I did see the photo kind of previewing it, but I thought better of it, Tim. I said, no, not today, Satan. I'm not watching this. No, 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 no. No way will this make it on in my feed. And yet here we are with you telling me about it. And I'm glad that I didn't see it, but still the imagery that you were creating through your verbs, your description, your thoughtfulness of the considerations for this guy, I don't need to see it. I believe you. I believe everybody. And I think, yeah, we don't need that in this world. So to that gentleman, that sucks. Sorry about it. I guess it was considerate of you to jump off and actually make sure you weren't going to do that to somebody. So kudos to you. But yeah, we are bad people. I'm 100%. If I'm going to lose, I'm going to DQ you too. So you can't have a good day either. Because that
Yeah.
shit's the way we do it here. Tim, let's move on to the announcements for the PGF. Well, this was the last qualifier out in Vegas, and it was a very closely contested contest. It had ups, downs, a possible upset all the way at the very end. And yet we have two individuals who have punched their ticket. Yeah, you heard me right. Two individuals that punched their ticket to the upcoming draft in Las Vegas. Tim, what can you tell us about that?
So yeah, man, the qualifiers are wrapped. This was the last of the season 9 qualifiers, and two guys got in, JJ Bowers, Brett Moyer. Good on Bowers, man. Bowers is a return performer to the PGF, and I think all in all, he's a young guy. He didn't have a terrible season last season. He might not have gotten the results that he wanted, but he got the experience that he needed. And I think we're going to see much bigger things, coming out of him moving forward. But man, Brett Moyer had a great run. He was tough. And the thing I really do love about the PGF is it is performance based, not result based. And so what I mean by that is you can go out there and not get the result in terms of the win loss that you were looking for. But if you put on a hell of a performance, there is a high likelihood you're going to get invited to compete at that show. So great stuff all around, man. The PGA, I'm stoked for season 9, and I just wanted to run through real quick just for the crowd here. The qualifier winners, these are the guys. We got Anthony Salisbury, Travis Haven, Sam Schwartzapfel, Austin Orenday, Jaden Groner, JJ Bowers, and Brett Moyer. So all those dudes, like you said, they punched their ticket and they're moving forward. And obviously Noah McCauley's getting lots of love as well. I don't know if we're going to see him. We might. There's a chance. You never know. Just like you said earlier, look, if you work on the staff at the PGF, when you show up to work that day that you are on the last line of defense, and there's an outside chance that 47-year-old Tim Freeman might have to take his suit jacket on and go out there and get run through for the sake of the show. That's just what you sign up for. It is comforting knowing you got to go through a lot of guys before you would get to me, but Noah still has a chance for sure. So,
and I'll point this out to you guys. Literally, the bitching and moaning that I did to get down to 177 was not worth it. So, not interested. Thank you all. But I want to point this out. Egg is over here saying JJ Bowers, the celebration he had with his family was beautiful. It was great. We actually talked about that in an interview I just did with him yesterday that is going to hit Patreon, I think later today or tomorrow. But getting the intel and the insight from him was good because I was curious, like, why come back after one season? Normally people like to take off a little bit of time, especially if they come back a certain way. And for him, it was important for me to get a reaction to him saying he was the number 1 person in the draft last year, and that maybe that didn't come to fruition, but that he will likely be a name that people bring up this coming year in multiple ways. So we did get his reaction to those things and much, much more. So check out Grappling Hour on Patreon for that in the next couple days. Tim, I will tell you this, though. You're right. There's a lot of stuff we never know. So as much as you guys like your people, keep mentioning them, keep reminding us, put them in the comment section, tell us who we should have eyes on. The hard part for us is I just don't want to lead anybody on and say like, oh, Noah's going to be in when they have told us that's the amount of people, that's what they have. Doesn't mean that he's for sure out. I don't know, man. If you're a prospective GM, owner, I think you paid very close attention to all of those qualifiers. Because if it does get down to it, you are looking at those individuals as the next pickups if your team is deficient a player or two. And Egg had teased this in the past where he said qualifiers are going to become maybe a little bit smaller and smaller. This time they're able to come with 2 members of each team. I wonder if that goes down to 1 in the future. I wonder if all of the pre-existing things of courting and trying to make those appeal to those other people, I wonder what that does. And more importantly, this is the first time that we know the fixed balance is $9,000, where the old value is $15,000. So it's going to be very interesting to see. I don't know that we're going to have a runaway like JJ Bowers at 45,000, because now if you get somewhere in that neighborhood, no, I'm sorry, 4,500. Now, if you get in that neighborhood, that's more than half your budget that you have for the rest of the draft. So sure, there might be 2 other people that you can split up and it's going to be a little bit more of the average cost. But if you have a runaway in this particular case, there will be even more pressure on them than there was on JJ last season. That is just a consideration. All right, Tim, I think it is
Yeah.
time for us to go to this week's low light highlight of the week. What can you tell us about this week's fight of the week?
Well, Raf, this fight is in a return genre, a very popular genre, and for a quote unquote sport that is not, there's no contact at all in this sport. There's not even supposed to be talking. Everyone's supposed to be quiet, and you're hitting a ball, 300-400 yards into a hole. There's a lot of fisticuffs that take place in the golf course fighting genre. Apparently, people get pretty pissed about golf. And this isn't one guy. This is not 1-on-1. This is not 2-on-2. This appears to be 3-on-3 or 4-on-4. And I want you to pay attention, because at first it looks like it's white shirts versus black shirts. But then you'll notice there's a couple guys that are like, there's a couple of black shirts on a team with a white shirt, and there's a couple of white shirts on a team with a black shirt. So it gets a little confusing. And if you pay attention, it looks like they may have even gotten confused themselves. The grappling is not strong. It looks like maybe this golf course was iced over and they couldn't quite get their footing, but great stuff. Nevertheless, can't wait to share it with you, man.
Fair enough. I'm going to go ahead and press play on this. Tim, you'll, of course, take the first stab at it.
Let's go. This is the Golf Galaxy Bros against TaylorMade, and dude's just getting drug. He's getting drug on the greens. They're trying to do a safe wrap technique on him. Pardon the cameraman. And you can see Homeboy's throwing some shots now, and other dudes alligator legging the guy that's standing, and camera guys trying to keep it all in. There's some good big punches here. We got 2-on-3 situations. Oh, they all fell over again. And then the dude on the left was like, okay, guys, I think we're supposed to walk on this path. And they're like, no, let's kick. You ain't going to kick, my friend. Again. Oh, there it goes. Yeah. Interesting fight. I still can't tell who was on whose side or why this fight happened. I'm trying to figure out if this is one crew that had a beef, or if this is 2 crews that met up or crossed paths, and it's like, hey, you're not allowed to play at the country club. This is our territory. Get your ass back to municipal. Like, I don't know what's going on here, but something's going on.
All right. I'm going to take my stab at this one now. Thank you very much for that, Tim. So let me start with this. First thing I want to point out here is that if you get into a fight at a golf course, you've made some poor decisions in your life. Like, can you imagine the fees you're going to have to pay for this? It's bad enough that you have to pay just to be a member at a golf course or to go visit a golf course. But they have all your information. You have to check out. You might have to do that. So, with that in mind, let's address this. Before we even press play on this, I just want you to keep the following idea in the back of your head. These dudes fight with the absurdness of the 60s Batman sitcom. They are vaguely choreographed. And let's look at this dude. What is this? What is this dude in the darker polo, who looks definitely like an older gentleman, who's trying to swat the dude away. Look at his arm. What is that? What is that? He literally gets it up like he's shooing a fly away, like, get. You move. And why is the person behind, like here, backing off? If someone's swatting at you like that, that is a gift. Literally doing this at you, please do and give me your wrist so I can take that for either a single leg or a Russian. I'll 100% take either of those. But that's not to distract you from the goonery that's happening in the background of this scene. The cameraman, who literally is not doing well off his rehab stint, looks like he's relapsed and is giving you a little bit of a taste here and starts telling you, well, they've made it to the ground. Now, look at the dude in the background. Why is he pulling the dude like he's in a Scorsese movie? Like, that is some mobster dragging of bodies that you can only do to Joe Pesci, and only Joe Pesci. Here we go. This is the most artistic scene. This is like American Beauty when the plastic bag is flying in the background. You're just looking at the T's and where you're supposed to go. And they take a second, they zoom you back into the action. And guess what? Everybody's in. This is like EASO soccer. Everybody plays. So now there's some jumping around, some force perspective. And just when you think things are done, this dude swears that he's the Captain America of the group, because look at this uppercut he throws. He is super proud of himself. Nah, that's not even an uppercut. That dude's hitting you with the Herb Dean. That's Herb Dean about to hit the scream. Watch. 1, 2, 3. Pya! Pya! That's exactly what that is. If y'all don't remember that, go look it up. 2004, Herb Dean ended a career. 1, 2, 3. Pya! It's also a Dave Chappelle sketch, if you didn't miss that one. A little bit of pushing. This is my favorite push, by the way. This is the like, hey, we've had enough of you, pal. Watch. 1, 2, 3. You stop that, bud. Yeah. That's kind of it. This is the best part about dudes who go on the green. They like run out of energy because they aren't real athletes. So they got somewhere to be. And Tim, that was our fight of the week.
Look at that still shot. Look at that guy's feet in the still shot right there. Spinning it in the air.
He looks like when you pause the button on a Mortal Kombat when Liu Kang is like flying in the air. You just go, all right, dude, that's you.
That's my the goodness. Only image your wife gets. She just gets a text, and it's you and your boys, and then you're one of those guys. It's like, Jesus.
The phone call I would have to have with Kelly. I mean, yeah. I will credit Kelly for this much. She would want to know if we won or not.
Yeah, of course, right?
Because she'd be pissed that we got into a fight, but she'd be like, "Would you fuck him up?" And I'd be like, "Yeah." And she goes, "All right. Yes. Well, do you want pizza tonight? Like, what are we doing?" She wouldn't care for too much longer on that. Tim, that is where we have reached it this week. Tell the people where they can find you, good sir.
Yeah, you can catch me at Inside BJJ. Working on a concept. It'll be out soon, so stay tuned for that. All your favorite social media stuff. If you're out in Nashville, come see me at 10th Planet Nashville. And if you're out in Stockton, go check out my school out there, 10th Planet Stockton RAF. Great stuff today. Thanks for being flexible, getting the show in on Wednesday. Apologies to our Friday faithful, but Daddy's got to go to Chicago.
It's fine. And yeah, I mean, Tim, listen, you are deserving of one vacation day. So that's why right now I don't mind it. But like, hey, man, if you ask for 2 vacation days here at the show, we don't have the structure to cover for you. I don't know if you've seen our track record of other hosts. It's not great. It's not so I don't know that we can cover for the loss of Tim Freeman on the show. Otherwise, it's just me playing like multiple roles, and I gotta Eddie Murphy this bitch. I'm gonna play one in a fat suit. Literally, it's gonna get weird. But Tim Freeman, I hope you have a great rest of your day. I will talk with you soon, my friend.
Right on, brother.
All right, you guys, let me close this bitch up. I want to say thank you so much for watching this week on the show. If you enjoy us, check us out. You can find us at Grappling Hour, at Inside BJJ. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't done already. And yes, that does mean our good friends over here. And I did see you commenting here at the very end. The Dream 2026 season. It is upon us now. We are there. We are ready for it. Ish, kind of. Yeah, let's get there. It's concerning because, dude, it happens so fast. I felt like we were just previewing the thought of season 9. Now we've already had all the qualifiers. We're in the mix of it, baby. It's a real thing. So this Wednesday, we will be there live for the draft, and we're excited about that. I believe Tim and I are going to do another show that will happen next week for that. Very excited about it, but you guys are going to want to tune in Wednesday, 4 p.m. on the PGF World YouTube, all of their little social media and whatnot. It will be airing everywhere. So please tune in and make sure, mark the date out, and then mark playoff, mark regular season, and of course, the next big event after the draft is going to be opening day, and that is March 4th. So it's just 1 month away from... God, it's happening all over again. Just the PTSD, y'all. But we are excited. It's a lot of work, though. Your boys are going to be traveling. We're going to see an Annex soon. We're going to see an Egg soon, a Dream soon. Everybody's going to be around there. It's going to be fun. But yeah, a lot of work. And a lot of troubles. But a lot of laughs. So check us out. Inside BJJ, Grappling Hour. Like, comment, subscribe wherever you're watching this. And as reminders, get some merch from us at rafesparza.com/merch. And, hook your boy up. Just saying. Really do appreciate it. Check me out at patreon.com/grappling as well. That's going to do it for us here at the show, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in on a beautiful Wednesday. I hope you have a great rest of the week. Keep partying hard. But for right now, it's been a great day for grappling. We'll see you back on the mats.